Is this? No, that's invisible. Oh, spooky. I wanted spooky lighting, but I don't have lamp source for it. Halloween spooky spook videos. Watched some fun stuff at a Halloween party with friends. Uh, your Marvel guy is here. We watched Werewolf by Night, so it's Marvel time because we know I love Marvel. Um, we watched another recent movie that I will be also reviewing. So I'm not. I'll break the Marvel. This is more of a. I watched it and I've talked about every other Marvel thing that I've watched, so might as well talk about this. Werewolf by Night. Marvel special presentation. I'm getting rid of this pen before it becomes a fidget toy. A special presentation. It's like a 50 minute, 45 minute, like special one-off thing. So not a whole series, but not a movie either. Just like a special little one-off thing. And I liked this. I would like Marvel to do more little one-off things like this because the shows are all starting to feel either like somehow padded out and rushed at the same time. Uh, and then the movies are, the movies. They've always been there. They'll always be there. But I like these. Like I appreciate, and this is what I liked about when they first started doing shows, like MCU canon shows, is this opportunity to tell these like smaller stories. But the shows now feel like a chore, as I discussed in my She-Hulk review. Go watch that if you haven't already, or don't. If you're tired of hearing discourse about She-Hulk, that's fine. I didn't hate the show. I didn't love the show. It was there. I won't talk about it anymore if you're tired of hearing about it. Werewolf by Night, I was pleased. Right from the beginning, they do like da 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 ba 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 like Marvel logo thing, and then it gets and there's like thunder that goes through it, and it gets like black and whiteified. It's Marvel doing like a Universal monster movie, like a 1930s monster flick, which is so fun, and I think they capture it pretty well. It's not like done perfectly, and it is kind of like it's like just short enough. I wish it was a little longer. I feel like it is just short enough that it's kind of forgettable. Like it's the kind of thing you put on at a Halloween party, like I did, watch and then don't really think about it afterward. Uh, but it's still like it's just cool to see Marvel experiment with style a little more. I think they've been trying to do it to mix with mixed results for the last like year or so. Like that, even there's a lot of their like recent projects have had kind of some style experimentation. And this was a case where them experimenting with style didn't like highlight the like this was a case where them experimenting with style was actually fun and successful and didn't like shine a light on the Marvelisms. The most marvelly thing I can say about this movie is that some of the fight choreography and shot composition with action scenes were very like I would look at it and be like, I can tell this is like Marvel choreography. It doesn't look like an old Universal. It doesn't look like an old monster movie. It looks like a Marvel action scene. But there are also some scenes that very much have the style of an old movie. There's a great when the titular werewolf first transforms into the werewolf. They do a great shot where Elsa Bloodstone, one of the other characters, is trapped in a cage with him because she tried to help him. It's part of the plot. And they do instead of showing his transformation, they do a reaction shot with flashing lights illuminating shadows of him like changing, and each time the shadow is lit up, he's like at a different stage in the transformation. So there's some really cool shots like that do not feel like that did not feel like a Marvel movie thing. It felt like a classic monster movie thing. So I would argue I thought it was an authentic enough modernization, not even really a modernization. It does take place in the modern day, I'm pretty sure, but it's kind of like it was an authentic enough like new version of a classic monster movie. I liked the black and white. I liked how the bloodstone thing that all the players in this game, because basically it's a game of like hunt the monster. I liked that the bloodstone thing, the magic item that all the players were trying to get was like red, and everything else, while everything else was black and white, it was still like red. The only other complaint I can make besides some of the action scenes, fight choreography seeming a little too marvelly, is that I wish they'd like used actual film. Like this is a bit of a film nerd thing, I guess, but I'm not even that much of like it just doesn't bother me that much. But it's like they're clearly trying to emulate old like shot on film movies, but it kind of at times, and it's more noticeable when they do these like very Marvel-esque shots that are not often, but sometimes you'll notice it and be like, that's Marvel fight choreography. Like, oh yeah, this is a Marvel thing. And it kind of those moments will take me out, and it doesn't help that you can tell the movie was it's shot in the same aspect ratio that all the other Marvel things are shot in. It's shot digitally. They do these weird they try to do a weird film grain effect at certain points, but it is more jarring than it is like enhancing, because it just kind of feels like a filter. The black and white doesn't just feel like a filter most of the time. It's like I don't know if they shot the movie in color and filtered the shots to black and white. I feel like they probably did, just because the bloodstone is still red. So they would have at least had to shoot those scenes in color, I think. But the decision to make it like black and white and try to emulate like 1930s monster movies was really fun, and I don't know. I just like to see more cool stuff like that with Marvel. That is like for a long time now, most of the appeal to Marvel to me has been, oh, getting this kind of thing in the MCU, this kind of thing in the MCU, and I know that like after a while the novelty of that has worn off for me. Like, oh, spy movie in the MCU, or horror movie in the MCU, horror especially is like, okay, sure, horror. Like even this movie has horror elements, but it's not a horror movie. It's as scary as a 1930s monster movie. Like, which is to say it's not very scary at all and is more campy than anything. It's not campy in a quippy way. This movie, there's not that much quipping. There's not that much Marvel quipping. It's campy in a old school monster movie, in an old school B movie kind of way, which is fits very well. You forget I've been talking about things that feel marvelly. Most of the time you watch it and you just like, if I put it on for well, I say that, but it has the Marvel logo at the beginning. Like it makes sure to tell you right at the beginning that it's a Marvel thing. But if I were to put it on and somebody came in 5 minutes in not knowing what it was, and I said, like, somebody showed up to the Halloween party, I'm like, oh, it's Werewolf by Night, they might not realize it's a Marvel thing. Like, it's stylistically, it achieves what it's going for well enough that you're not just watching thinking, okay, Marvel's doing this, and it's disconnected from the rest of the Marvel stuff, really. It has a very simple, easy to follow plot that is just kind of like, it was fun. It was a fun time. I don't have that much to say about it. I don't think it was like super interesting or really a signal of any new direction. I just appreciate the like TV special vibe. I feel like the 50-minute TV special has been completely lost in the era of streaming. So it was nice to just get something like that again. And I'd like to see more of that kind of thing from Marvel. Less series, less like full TV shows about every frickin' character. Like, why is WandaVision getting 2 spin-off shows? And more of these like little one-off 45-minute, low time commitment, low investment things from Marvel, please. More of this kind of thing. If any of this sounds interesting to you, it's like 50 minutes. If you have a free hour and you're looking for like something that's not quite movie length, but something that will, because watch Werewolf by Night. I'd recommend it. And that's all I'm going to talk about that because I really don't care that much. Ooh, but it was fun. Don't leave it at you. Blah 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 blah. What am I doing?